So here we go. Electronic Cafe Albums of the Year 2023. Doesn't get any easier, does it?
No, mate, it certainly doesn't. I won't lie, it's been a real pain in the arse because there's been so much good music for me and you to share with our lovely EC audience, and whittling it down to 30 albums. What a fantastic year for the Electronic Cafe in general in terms of all the people we interview. But now this little task that we've done for the last few years, and as you and I said earlier, we'd normally do some special mentions, but I think because it's been such an amazing year, we spend most of this episode doing special mentions. So we're just going to focus on the 30 we picked. And, you know, I'm hoping most people will appreciate and love what we've put forward. I'm guessing there'll be a few people that won't agree or they'll add their own stuff, and we totally get that. We're all for it. You know, this is our view of the stuff that we've loved and made our ears happy. So, you know, we hope you enjoy it.
Well, it's a difficult task because, you know, we buy a lot of music. The Electronic Cafe buys a lot of music. There's a lot of reissues that go amongst that. There's a lot of live albums that go amongst that. You know, it was literally me and you slammed our list together and it came up with about 60 albums that were just 2023 albums, not forgetting all the old stuff we bought or the reissues or albums that weren't 2023. Putting the list together, and it was just literally like walking around the playground, picking the best team, trying to get our top 30 together. There was 9 duplications of albums that we both thought were in there, which are obviously in there, but the task just doesn't get any easier.
But I think, you know, overall we've done a good job. As you say, I think we had 9 albums that were the same, which is very unusual for you and me, but it's great. So it made the job a little bit easier, but I won't lie, as you say, every year it just gets bloody hard. And the nice thing is, you know, we started this whole thing to bring new music to people. Thank God the creative sort of vein of musicians out there at the moment is incredible. We just want you to hear all of it. So, but we think we've done a good job of picking our favourite 30 albums of the year, as you say, mate. So we just hope everyone out there likes it. And the other thing for this is for the people that haven't seen the show or just want some recommendations, they'll find a ton of new stuff here to get their ears into, which I think is really important.
Yeah, exactly. So, you ready? Should we dive in?
Let's do it, mate. Let's go for it.
Welcome to the Electronic Cafe Albums of the Year 2023.
cryptocurrency. You want your money back? I didn't think so. You want your money back? I didn't think so.
In my heart, in my face, ooh, I'm digging deeper now.
Number 10, a band we interviewed earlier this year because we were so blown away by the album. The incredible Remainder and the album Even Song, made up with our good friend Neil Arthur, who we absolutely love coming onto the show. Finley Shakespeare, who we've been a big admirer of, and Liam Hutton got together to make this incredible album. And so we loved it so much we had to get them on the show to talk about it, and we're glad they did. Thank you guys, but this is a deserved album to be in our chart and one of our best albums of this year. So check it out if you haven't already.
One last song, seldom heard.
Number 10 is, for me, Memento Mori by Depeche Mode. In recent years, I don't think there has ever been as much opinion or speculation about an album release as we heard about this, the 15th studio album by Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode would always find themselves between a rock and a hard place with any release. Its inclusion in this is bound to stir emotions, but we feel Depeche Mode returned this year with a solid, strong album, back using more electronics than its predecessor Spirit and reining in on the blues rock. A welcome return.
A place to hide the tears that you cried. Everybody says goodbye. Faith is sleeping, lovers in the end. Whisper will be ghosts.
Number 9, keeping krautrock truly alive and making it still sound exceptional, is Fred und Luna, or really it's a project of Sugar Ray Buchmüller, based out in Germany, making some incredible music in the sort of krautrock genre. But this, make no doubt, makes it sound so fresh. As soon as we heard it, we thought, yeah, this has got to be in the chart for this year. An absolutely incredible piece of work. If you haven't heard it already, I say go listen to it. It's amazing.
In at number 9, my choice is 4 by Motoric. Rhythmic drums and guitar loops aplenty. The 4th hypnotic krautrock inspired album by Belgian avant-garde comrades Motoric.
Number 8 comes from a band that we've loved for quite a few albums now, and we're fortunate enough to talk to the fantastic John Kunkel, the main man behind the incredible New Division. We love this album, Modern Life. Every track on it is just ear-blisteringly good. it's everything you want in a really good sort of synth pop album. It obviously got a lot of influence on the likes of New Order, etc., but well worth checking out. I say this is incredible John Kunkel and New Division, and the album called Modern Life.
In at number 8, my choice is Everything Is Alive by Slowdive, the 5th album from shoegaze giant Slowdive, full of shimmering electronic emotive soundscapes from a band fast becoming the masters of their craft.
Number 7, one of the most exciting bands to come from South Devon. Just a great album. These guys are getting incredible plaudits. It's incredible. Pale Blue Eyes. This album's called This House. Every review I read of this band is like 5-star. And when I heard this album and the first album, I can see why. Absolutely great band. If you haven't heard these guys, you're missing out on a real sonic treat. So, in at number 7 is Pale Blue Eyes.
Number 7 for me is Strange Disciple by Nation of Language, the 3rd consecutive appearance in the Electronic Cafe Albums of the Year chart for prolific synth pop stalwarts Nation of Language. Another great album.
So much to say. Touch me on the left, spare me the decision. Can you sense it?
Number 6 is the glorious Atom Brigade. This is a real slice of 80s post-punk electro-pop formed of a supergroup really of Martin Jensen, Rupert Lally, Amanda Joy and Oliver Shearer. If you haven't heard it, I've been going on about this for ages, as has Mark. I know a few people have discovered it and said how much they love it. Truly exceptional album. It's the self-titled Atom Brigade. There's about 5 copies left on Bandcamp on vinyl. If you haven't got one, grab it now. Definitely worth investing in.
My number 6 is the fantastic solo album by Tiny Magnetic Pets drummer Eugene Summers called Sunlight Through Ambient Windows, a sonically beautiful album engineered by Tim Dorney from Republica and featuring the vocal talents of the likes of Eric Stein, Paula Gilmer and Judy Blue. A fantastic album.
Staring out into eternal space, sign that calls my soul. The twilight guides me gently home. Just leave a light on, brother.
Coming in at number 5 for me is the late arrival of Songs of Silence by Vince Clarke, the first and only solo LP from godlike synth genius Vince Clarke, and unlike anything you've ever heard from Vince before. Songs of Silence is a lyricless ambient instrumental album created with 2 rules.
First, that the sounds generated for the album would come solely from the Eurorack modular synthesizer system, and secondly, that each track would be based around one note, maintaining a single key throughout. The resultant pieces are stunning. Beautiful cinematic soundscapes never outstand their welcome, all retaining their 4-minute pop sensibilities. A really stunning record.
For number 5 for me is the amazing M83 and the album Fantasy. Obviously, our good friend Anthony Gonzalez is the main guy for this stuff now. I think what's nice about this was that with this album, he wanted it to be very impactful live. He wanted to come back to something that's close to the energy of Before the Dawn Heals Us, which I loved. So there's a real combination of guitars and synths that are always in the music, but he wants to be more present on this than previous albums. I think he's quite a reserved guy, but he wanted to be more present lyrically and vocally. So I think it was quite daunting for him. He said if he could achieve that, this album would be more personal than those that came before. This is their 9th studio album. It's a sensory delight, and I think it's probably Anthony's most personal album to date. I think what he's trying to do is create like an alternate world as an escape from the disconnect of where we live in today, but huge guitars, huge synths, absolutely brilliant, deserved of a top ranking in the Electronic Cafe Best Albums of 2023. Okay, number 4 is the fantastic Warrington Runcorn. It's easy for me to say, Newtown Development Plan. Absolutely love this. This is the genius of Gordon Chapman Fox, and I think it kind of explores the North-South divide and reflects on 40 years of broken levelling up promises. There's 8 tracks, last about 40 minutes. But there's an underlying anger in this album that burns through on tracks such as London's Moving Our Way, and then there's like a brighter, more prosperous future as well. There's real light and shade in this. It's a very powerful album. Absolutely love it. I think the guy's an absolute genius. So check this out and say this is the nation's most central location by Warrington Runcorn Newtown Development Plan. A very worthy album to be right at the high end of our chart.
For me, my number 4 album of 2023 is Empire Falling by Magnetic Skies. Empire Falling is the debut album from Magnetic Skies following their series of successful EPs and single releases. A creative journey rooted in a love for 80s synth-driven post-punk, the album has a sound characterised by a palette of vintage analogue synths and pulsating bass and big anthemic hooky choruses. It's such a great album and a great band to catch live too.
It's taking me higher. The scent in the skin, the seconds are closing in, and I know where it's going to end. If I close my eyes, I'll find I'm into paradise.
At number 3, absolute geniuses in our eyes. The fantastic 8 Certain Ratio. Donald, Martin and Jez, we salute you. You guys have been doing this a long time. We absolutely love this and pretty much everything else you guys have done. These guys definitely qualify for the FAF sector of music, funky as fuck. But what I love about these guys is what they do is so original. But it's like if you could mix Parliament, Brass Construction, War, and all those amazing 70s funk bands with the edge and stillness of Joy Division and those early factory record geniuses, you get this. And the nice thing about what these guys do is they keep inventing, reinventing themselves. They don't sit still. They're continually exploring new boundaries. And also, we were fortunate enough to say to chat to Martin and Donald, Jez, next time, mate. But two of the nicest guys you ever meet, but just incredible album. I think these guys are as relevant now, if not more so, than when they started their careers. Absolutely take my hat off to these guys. Thoroughly well done, guys. 1982 by a certain ratio. If you haven't heard it, your ears deserve it.
And my number 3 album of 2023 is Bauhaus Staircase by OMD. OMD returned this year with their 14th and possibly their last studio album, and if it is, what a way to bow out. The previous Punishment of Luxury album in 2017 was rumoured to be their last album, but COVID and lockdown kick-started Andy McCluskey's creative juices, powered by the rediscovery of total boredom. Andy McCluskey promised Paul Humphries that the album would never be released if it didn't scale the heights of Punishment of Luxury, and thankfully it did. Crispy electronic synth-pop with a nod towards both Andy McCluskey's love of Bauhaus art and film noir. As with the numerous OMD albums or songs, OMD wrap up protest, political or historical context, all within the veneer of a shiny pop song, and if this is their last album, we'll feel that it's a landmark album worthy of their finest work, a great album.
Number 2. Now, normally it has to be on vinyl to qualify for our charts, but this is such a great album, we made an exception. X Into I by the brilliant Cult with No Name, Eric and Johnny. You know, I think this is their 11th studio album, was something of that crazy nature, really high amount of music and output. And I'm getting really fed up in magazines like Electronic Sound magazine saying they are Britain's synth-pop's best kept secret. Yes, they are, but they shouldn't be anymore. This album is as good as anything we've heard this year. Beautifully written, incredibly crafted, fantastic melodies. Probably the album I've played the most this year. As I say, we were fortunate enough to have these guys be part of the Electronic Cafe Live Volume 1 at the Water Rats in March. Two of the nicest guys you could ever wish to meet. But this album is absolutely awesome. I know a lot of people went to that gig, heard them for the first time, have become obsessed with them and bought everything they've done, which is fantastic, but more people need to hear this album. Go and get it if you haven't heard it. Thoroughly recommended. X Into I by Cult with No Name, our number 2 album.
For me, my number 2 album of the year is Watching Sleepers by Blackcarburning. Blackcarburning is the debut solo album from Mark Hockings, who's the singer from the synth band Mesh, who spent the pandemic in isolation, and he used his involuntary exile to create something new, and Blackcarburning was born. Hockings takes on multiple roles, including writing, singing and programming, and he comes out of the gate with his guns blazing. Blackcarburning is complex, refined, multi-layered, and a beautiful piece of art with an incredible level of depth and sophistication. The album has given Hockings the space to grow as an artist and express himself differently and take risks away from the Mesh mothership. and explore the darker side of pop music.
I wish you could feel what you put me through when you watch me die inside. When you watch me die inside. When you kill me,
Now, to the pinnacle of everything that we've talked about for the best albums of 2023, the number one album, the brilliant Das Koolies, and the album called DK01. For the uninitiated, this is Super Furry Animals, basically without Gruff Reese. So when they were in the studio, when he wasn't around, they started putting stuff together. I'm so glad they did. The whole album is such a journey. And it's probably the album that made me set up and, I don't know, just makes my mouth drop the most. I just, like Tell a Fish last year, I just fell in love with this. I love music that's creative, energetic, bright, engrossing, engaging, incredibly well structured. The vocals in this album are reminiscent of sort of Beatles, Beach Boys era, but backed up with massive synth guitars, so many hooks. It's joyous. It's absolutely joyous. I also think they should make a t-shirt of that design, because I think it's a fantastic design. Guys, if you're watching, merch opportunity right here. But all that aside, the most important thing that matters is the music. And the music on this is just superb. As soon as I got it, I knew it was going to be the number one album of the year for me. It absolutely blew me away. I've been telling everyone about it. If you haven't got it yet, do so. You won't regret it. Yeah, Das Koolies, DK01.
And my number one album of 2023 is The Ballad of Darren by Blur. I like Blur, but I'll say from the outset that I'm not the biggest Blur fan in the world. And also, a brand new Blur album is something that I wasn't expecting in 2023. When I heard about it, I was fearful. I was fearful of a jolly Britpop Cockney lads sing-along type album with songs like Park Life or Girls and Boys. But thankfully, I was wrong. Blur are better than that. Ballad of Darren is mature, polished, nostalgic and melancholic. It's a great sounding album and very age appropriate for four middle-aged men. This was the first Blur studio album since The Magic Whip in 2015, which didn't include guitarist Graham Coxon. It was produced by James Ford, who seems to be the in-demand producer at the moment, having just finished work with Depeche Mode and Arctic Monkeys. And in the past he has also worked with Gorillaz. It is an album written by Damon Albarn while he was on tour with Gorillaz in 2022, and it also contains, for me, one of my favourite songs of 2023, The Narcissist. The album is brilliantly produced and it has that lush, laid-back feel to it, conjuring up the ghost of the melodramatic To The End on the Park Life album. Although melancholic, the Ballad of Darren doesn't feel sad. It has a depth and a sparseness, mixing traditional instruments with the electronics, and for me, my favourite album of the year amongst very stiff competition. It's a lovely, lovely album.
It played in mono, painted blue. You were the hero. I was the dark room. I'm the shining light in your eye. You probably shine it back on me, but I won't fall this time. With Godspeed, I heed the sign.
So that's it for another incredible year, 2023, for the Electronic Cafe. Want to thank, on behalf of Mark and myself, all the artists that we've interviewed this year. Thank you so much. It's been a real honour. And I'd like to name them all individually, but I'll be here all day. But you guys know who you are. Thank you so much. We know you don't have to come on here, but we're so glad you do. We absolutely love having you on as our guests. The artists that supported us for EC Live 1, National Milk Bar, Eric and Johnny, Cult No Name, and of course Beautiful Machines, Conrad and Steph. Thank you guys for making that event truly memorable. Our good friends at Blitzed magazine, Mr. Saunders, you're a legend. Thank you, mate, for getting behind us and being so supportive. Absolutely love your mag. It deserves to be incredibly successful. And yeah, and you guys for all your comments, being involved, your recommendations on our Facebook channel. We've built a real solid family here, and Mark and I love all of you. You're all incredible people. You're on the same wavelength as us. We just all love music. That's the bottom line. So I hope you enjoy the celebration of our favourite 30 albums of 2023. We're doing this a few years now, it's gaining momentum, and I'm hoping all the artists happily receive their award, their little logo that we'll send to them. And also, talking about live events, don't forget, March the 16th, next year, Electronic Cafe Live Volume 2 is going to be an absolute stonker. We've got Peter Dugal, we've got Tiny Magnetic Pets, we've got Wolfgang Fleur, yes, the Wolfgang Fleur headlining. And then if that all wasn't enough, an incredible DJ set by the fabulous Mr. Mark Reeder at the 229. Get your tickets. I'll ask Mark to put a link down below. You must come to that event. It's going to be an absolutely amazing evening. But look, it just goes for me to say again, thank you for your support. It means everything to us. It really does. You're beautiful people. You really are. You know, when we bump into you at gigs, it just makes our day when we all get to talk and meet you guys. Take care. Bye for now.